Got a couple stand-up dates to remind you guys about. Every Tuesday night this month of November, we will be over at The Block in the Rio Rancho Bernalillo area. Show starts at 8, ends at 9:30. It's been an amazing venue so far. Kick-ass shows. Come out and see it. All of them are hosted by my boy, AJ De Leon. And then at the end of the month, on the 22nd at 8 p.m., we're doing another show at Safe House in downtown Albuquerque. Now let's get into the podcast. Let's start there. It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you, bro.
It is a pleasure to see you. Yeah,
back.
I like headphones so that you can, you literally hear what the audience is going to hear.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not talking over each other. You're not like sitting too far away from it. Like, oh, I'm in there. It's right there. It's perfect.
I can hear how shitty my voice sounds, dude. Is this how I sound to
You've been partying
all the time?
You've been partying like a motherfucker or what?
No, I always sound like this. I don't know.
No, you sound fine, man.
All right, cool. Are these twisties? Mm-hmm. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, dude. It is great to see you again.
You too, brother.
Yeah, we were talking about about my upcoming move, and I am not too sure what I'm gonna do because housing is out the fucking wazoo right now, and the way it's looking at the moment is that's not good. The way it's looking at the moment is either a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio. The issue with that is I do not have enough. I have like way too much stuff. That is not enough room.
Yeah, definitely not.
That is not enough room.
Are you guys renting this, or does somebody own it that you know?
No, we're renting it from a leasing company.
Gotcha.
And so what I would like to do is, leaving the company names out of it, what I was just telling you, what I would like to do is get that job, and then because if I get that job, I still won't stay here because of how expensive it is to live here.
Yeah.
But if I get that job, that will give me a little more wiggle room, and I will be able to move into a new spot. I've found a couple of 2-bedroom apartments that are like $1,100, $1,200, and that job will let me have that.
Okay.
Like that job will make that, and they're also utility included. So the job, thankfully, will allow me to have those apartments and be comfortable.
Yeah.
But without that job, I have no fucking clue.
Well, when do you have to be out of here?
February.
Oh, you got time, bro.
Yeah.
We'll see. See how the housing market happens when Daddy Trump, dude. When Daddy Trump takes over.
I gotta be real with you, man. I'm not convinced he's gonna win.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen either.
I'm not convinced. Well,
I was for a while.
Well, yeah. I mean, he gets fucking shot.
I was gonna say.
And even if because look, there's just in the same way that there's not a lot of common sense floating around the MAGA movement. There's not a lot of common sense floating around the hyper left, right? Whatever you want to call it. There's not a lot of common sense. But you would think
common sense is more uncommon now.
Yo, for sure. But you would think
everybody
that amongst the 70% of people that aren't on the fringes, right? The 70% of people that live in America, you would think that even if it didn't immediately flip you to Trump after that first assassination attempt happened,
yeah,
you would think, especially with Biden being the president at the time, that you see the opposing guy get shot at, and that's his first response.
Yeah,
right? Is let me put on my shoes, and then he starts pumping his fist in the air.
Yeah.
Now juxtapose that with the guy that the left was running at the time, Biden. That, not that should immediately flip you to Trump, but it should make you think.
For sure.
Who do you really want as your president? Not just policy-wise, because there are real issues with both of them.
Yeah.
Real issues. But, because there used to be a saying where it was people will vote for the person they want to have a beer with. And I
like that saying.
And you take that logic and you apply it to that.
Yeah.
Biden gets shot at. That dude's not getting back up.
No, hell no.
And I've been reading this book. It's called Nuclear War. It's fucking phenomenal.
By who?
Annie Jacobson.
Okay.
And she breaks down minute by minute, in some parts by 15 seconds, about what happens if a nuclear holocaust begins, a nuclear war happens. And
wow,
there's a part in the book where she's talking about like this is maybe 10 minutes or so after the nuke hits the Pentagon, and the president and a couple of his aides are in a helicopter flying away. And there's a part where they're like, all right, no, I'm sorry, this is like 10 or 30 seconds after the nuke hits the Pentagon. And they're like, okay, the nuke probably hit already. We need to ditch this plane or ditch this helicopter because even though it's an EMP attack, we're still in danger, whatever. So they have to parachute out of the helicopter. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the amazing people over at Chop Chili Company. Guys, they are the original sponsor of this podcast, and I could not be happier to continue to be working with these guys. I get it. It's New Mexico. Everyone loves red, green, both. But this genuinely is my favorite brand of chili here in the state of New Mexico, and I love being able to partner up with these guys. They are absolutely phenomenal. Zane and the rest of the team at Chop Chili do an amazing job running that company, and they make an absolutely phenomenal product. And right now, they are running a very special promotional on their Instagram. Go check them out on Instagram. Go give them a follow. And as they post pictures with the hashtag Where's My Chili Challenge, if you can guess where in New Mexico that picture was taken, you can win not only free red or green chili, but also a free custom t-shirt directly from the company themselves. Again, go check them out on Instagram, give them a follow, check out their hashtag Where's My Chili Challenge. Win yourself some free chili, win yourself some free shirts. They are also available in Smith's, Albertsons, Sprouts, and a ton of other grocery stores in the state of New Mexico, as well as El Paso, and they are expanding out to West Texas. Again, thank you so much to Zane and the rest of his amazing team over at Chop Chili. Back to the episode. And I'm just reading the scenario that she describes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't imagine Trump or Biden in that scenario.
Either one of them, yeah.
I can't imagine either one, but I certainly can't imagine Biden.
Yeah.
Because they go, and she makes it like super realistic, where it's like, it gets to a point where the president can't be found. The vice president is trying to get reached. They can't get a hold of him. Then the person right under, or no, I'm sorry, not the person under the vice president. I think it was the Secretary of Defense. They were going to swear him in because the Speaker of the House got killed in the blast.
This is all like a hypothetical story?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we want to swear in the Secretary of Defense. But he was looking at the nuclear bomb blast when it went off, and now he's blind. So we can't fucking swear him in.
Jesus.
It's a good book, dude. And I'm just reading it. And even with like removing the sentiments of anti-war.
Yeah.
If you read that book, anyone reads that book, I am convinced you look at who you vote for president differently.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've heard something that if they like to click the button, the nuclear code for the president, that they have to wake Biden up in the middle of the night. He has like a minute to decide or something.
Yeah.
And
so
like if getting that dude awake and able to probably Trump too, but getting that dude up to be competent enough to click a button like that within minutes would be rough.
That was one of my favorite lines in the debate where Trump was like,
I didn't watch him. Fuck.
So there's a part in the debate where, and Trump fucked that debate up left and right. Like
I felt like he was kind of struggling.
He had so many opportunities to really hammer in. So did you watch it or did you not watch it?
I watched like the
highlights,
like the last 5 minutes.
Okay.
And then some of the highlights, and then I was just like,
it's worth.
I already know what I'm doing. So.
It's worth the watch. Just to really like it should not right now. A few years down the line, when the Republican Party has eventually removed itself from Trump. By and large, like there'll always be the true diehard MAGA people that even if he wins this, they want a third term. Like there's always be those people
for sure.
But it should really be studied 10 or 15 years from now, provided we're alive that long. Really study how bad of a campaign Trump is running right now.
Damn,
like it's absolute trash. And then like and there's a lot of reasons I say that, but there's a part at least in the debate where they're talking about. Because the obvious way to shut down Kamala is like, you're saying you're going to do all these things. You're the vice president.
Yeah, you've had 4 years to do it.
And not only do we already have 4 years for you to do something or at least advocate for a part of these things you're talking about, we have you on record saying that you're going to go against everything you're talking about. But all of that aside, Biden is effectively not the president.
Yeah.
He's not. Like anybody, I don't think anybody believes that Biden's the actual president.
Well, not anymore, right? For sure.
No, he's in office. Like he has the title of president.
Still, I thought she got switched in.
No.
What was that whole thing?
So he just stepped down from running. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the amazing people over at High Desert Relief, a premier herbal destination right here in the state of New Mexico. They have extremely well-trained and knowledgeable staff that are more than happy to help you find what you're looking for or try something that you maybe have never thought of before. They have 2 locations right here in Albuquerque and a 3rd in Santa Fe. All 3 will be listed in the description of this episode below. All 3 locations offering legendary products at absolutely legendary prices, including this awesome merch that they were so kind enough to give me. They can be found at all 3 of the locations. Again, big thank you to all the people over at HDR. Back to the episode for re-election.
Oh, for running. Gotcha.
But where's the logic?
See, I don't know shit.
Yeah,
man.
see, so where's the logic? Where's the logic of you can't run a presidential campaign, but you can still run a country?
Yeah.
Right?
Interesting.
Isn't a campaign
That's crazy.
supposed to be your pitch to run the country?
Yeah.
So if you can't do the pitch, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's ridiculous.
So he's like, everything you've been talking about, you can go do. Like, you can go to the White House at 4 p.m., wake Biden up, and go.
God.
And that was one of my favorite lines of the debate. But
That's what he said. Trump said that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You go wake him up at 4 p.m. But yeah, no, there's a doctrine, I forget the actual name of it, but it's basically a rule the president has to adhere to where it's if there are nuclear bombs launched in America, we have to respond no matter what.
Okay.
And because of that, it's put us in this pretty much like this stalemate of like if we or, because of NATO, if one of our allies get launched at, we have to retaliate, which inevitably starts the nuclear war. And I would never advocate for if we got nuked, we don't nuke them back.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's even on the table where it's like,
scary.
We need to move away from this. And again, just the reason I bring that book up is I don't know how anyone even looks into that. You have to read a book about it, but just remotely just researches it. How do you pick either Trump or Biden? Like that's how that shows you. And I was really thinking about, I got a little too stoned a couple nights ago and I was thinking about this.
Nice.
I think because we know the deep state's real.
For sure.
We know that's real. It's real now more than ever.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it just shows a bit of complacency on the part of the people that are really pulling the strings, right? Where it's like, have they lost sight of nuclear war or do they just not care?
I don't think that they care.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I don't know that I want to live in a post-nuclear war world.
When do you think that can be? How much time do we have before that even happens?
I don't know. That's tough because like I think a lot of it really does depend. Like I've never enjoyed the mindset of this is the most important election. This is the most trying time.
It always is.
This is going to be the thing, and
every time.
And if this person gets elected, this country's fucked. And if this person gets elected, our country is saved. And blah 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 blah. I've never liked that.
Yeah.
But and I was having this conversation with Joey. It's like 2 a.m. like last week or a week and a half ago. If you really just look at both of the parties on their face, they're both corrupt. They both have really negative things about them. However, when you really look at it and what's going on, it is like I don't think Trump getting elected is going to save the country, but I think it's that saying where it's like you can't turn a ship with one pull. It's small maneuvers that turn a ship around. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think Trump is a small step in the right direction.
I agree.
But if Kamala gets reelected, that is like the true beginning of the downfall of this nation. I
agree.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be saying that if it weren't for the last 4 years. Well, 3.5.
Yeah.
If it weren't for the last 3.5 years of absolute nonsense.
I think, I think one side likes to distract us from what's really going on. I feel like we're all pretty privileged to live in America and that we're even more privileged that our biggest issues are like
Race.
our race or who you have sex with or if you have a wiener or vagina.
Right.
Like that's like the gender ideologies are like how privileged and lucky are we that that's like our biggest issues.
And that was one of the crux of my not arguments, but the crux of my my standpoint when I was having this conversation with him. I'm not going to say who, but someone in his life is very left leaning, and
we've all got a couple.
Yeah, and is very left leaning, and to the point of blinded by emotion.
Yeah.
And the way that I kind of...
It's them in a nutshell.
Yeah, the way I displayed this to him was like, look, exactly what you just said. How amazing would it be if we lived in a country where our number one problem really was race and gender and sexual ideology and sexual orientation? Imagine if that was the number one problem. But right now, it's not.
It shouldn't be, but I feel like everybody... I don't think it is.
Because their big one is abortion. I would say more than gender, more than race.
On both sides.
It's abortion. Well,
I feel like
on the right, their biggest problem is immigration and the economy.
Oh, I feel like some people will vote for pro-life on the right. Like that's a big.
They will for sure. They will for sure. But if you look at the right now, Trump's campaign is immigration and the economy and
cats and dogs.
Foreign affairs. But yeah.
I was like, fuck. He said that. I was like, damn it. I don't even know what that means.
I was watching the debate. I watched like the first half of it live, and when he said that, I was like, "Oh no!"
Unless he could back it up, and unless there's some.
Well, here's the thing.
But I was like, "Fuck!"
If that was a debate that was held in like Joe Rogan's podcast studio or in a hotel ballroom by Lex Friedman, or something like that, where it's like a long form,
and they can
fact check both of the people, by the way, not just Trump, but fact check both of them, and you're sitting down for like 2 or 3 hours, and you've got Jamie or whoever fucking fact checking these guys, and when Trump says cats and dogs, and Rogan puts down the joint for a second, he goes, wait a minute,
what the fuck?
Jamie, pull that up, and they find at that point the uncorroborated videos of immigrants eating cats and apparently it was namely cats and geese.
Okay.
Geese and ducks. I guess they were like, there's a lot more reports now of Haitian immigrants pulling ducks out of ponds and just eating them on the spot. Where it's like, if that may or may not be acceptable in their country, I've never been to Haiti. I've heard it's shit, but I've never been there.
How do you even get here from Haiti?
Yeah, exactly.
On a fucking boat?
Well, that's my issue. It's like, on a plane, I'm assuming. But also, if you gave me a map, I couldn't point out Haiti. I'm sorry. I couldn't. But I will say this. About third world countries, I will say this. When I went to fucking Djibouti, I saw people eating raw dog meat, like in the streets. I saw that. I saw people literally in the same fucking in the same like pond or whatever, in the same like small body of water, right? On the one side, on the right side, there was and slightly downstream, by the way, there was one guy washing his clothes, and then there was another dude wiping his ass in the water. Yeah, and that ass water was moving down to the clothes water. And I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that to disparage these people. I'm saying that third world countries operate differently than first world countries. Yeah,
they've got a little bit rougher than us.
Yes, they do. But back to your point about like their major problems. What I was telling is like if anyone gets in your face, anybody listening to this can use this argument. Feel free to use it. This is my argument against abortion, not as a act, but as a topic.
Yeah.
Right. Here's why I think it doesn't matter that much right now. So blanket statement, like overarching, borderline exaggerated. To anyone who thinks abortion is the number one problem, you can't have an abortion in a nuclear holocaust.
There we go.
I'm sorry, you cannot have an abortion during a nuclear and after a nuclear holocaust.
I agree. There's bigger fish to fry.
Exactly. And the reason I say that is right now there are two proxy wars going on that we are funding, right? And the awkward part of it too is that with the Israel-Gaza shit, we're funding both sides of that, but whatever.
Mostly Israel.
And then, yes, obviously mostly Israel, but we are,
Yeah.
So we are mostly funding Israel. And then we are obviously funding the Ukrainian war. And then there's a third conflict about to pop off. We're just waiting for it to happen when China decides they want to take Taiwan. And I really believe that they haven't done that yet because they want to see how our election plays out. If Kamala gets elected, China takes Taiwan by February of 25.
And we have to have Taiwan's back or what?
Yes.
How does that help us?
So we need, from what I understand.
I mean, how does that involve us?
Yeah, I haven't looked at that a lot, but Taiwan is one of our allies, like soft allies. I think they're not. I don't think they're a part of NATO. I'm gonna look that up actually. I don't think Taiwan's a part of NATO. But the issue is the main issue is that Taiwan is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, manufacturer of super chips. Like iPhone, like computer chips and shit like that, right? So, and that goes into everything from phones to video game consoles to vehicles, but also into weapons and jets and just instruments of war. Let's put it that way, right? We also get manufactured goods like that from China and all else around the world and here domestically, but we also get a lot of those chips from Taiwan. So if China takes that, we're kind of fucked.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Taiwan is not a part of NATO. Well, that's good. That's a positive. But the I'm just double checking what I just said because there's a lot more. Okay, so here's the thing. So we have 2, possibly 3 conflicts going on right now. We have a border that's out of control. We have inflation like we've never seen before. We have things, and my argument is like, if you can't afford groceries and you can't afford your rent, and you are really that, if abortion is that important to you, where you are that convinced that, you're that convinced that you'll have to do an abortion at some point in your life out of necessity.
They won't. It's all these fat, lesbian, ugly chicks that are never going to get pregnant ever that give a shit about abortion.
But you get my point.
Nobody's telling them what to do with their bodies because they're not even going on dates, dude.
So you're not wrong. But also, if you are that concerned that you're going to have an abortion in your life where you don't want one, do not put yourself in a situation that could lead to an abortion.
Like, just self-accountability, just being responsible. So, it's crazy how that can help things.
So that's a part of it, right? But then the other part of it too is, and I don't understand why the left doesn't do this, because we can send all this money over to Ukraine, the bulk of it going to their government, not even going to funding the war, it's going to their government.
To help anything.
But my whole thing is like, we have all this money to do that. And why doesn't the left turn around? Because the last I looked at it, statistically, the number one demographic of people that have abortions are black women.
Oh wow!
So if they are so if they are, so if they are the number one proprietor in this demographic, why not pump money into inner cities so that abortion does not have to happen in predominantly black areas? First of all,
or introduce like family values, or teach dads how to be good dads and men how to be good men, and masculinity, and make it a good thing instead of toxic. Like you could.
Well, there's a lot of that too.
Like it could be, but there's no more family values or morality anymore. There's no more like.
Yeah, that's starting to be across the board.
Yeah.
But I don't in
the West.
But what I don't get is why they don't do that. But anyway, my point is no, you're good. My point is that there are there are 3 big issues that we have to fix right now before we can not take abortion seriously, but before we can put it above nuclear war.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand, and I could go into way deeper into that. I'm just not going to, but like I don't understand how you can have like a real conversation about that where someone sensible comes out and says, yeah, abortion is still more important than nuclear war.
Yeah, no.
Because that's on the table.
Because they have blinders on.
We are closer to nuclear war now than we ever have been.
What are the other 2? Nuclear war.
Well,
there's probably a bunch more important than that.
Economy.
Yeah.
And the border. And they all feed into each other. Like the border is an issue of national security that leads to nuclear war and invasion, of course, and then that fucks up the economy. And anyway.
For sure.
Anyway.
Theo Von did a good podcast with the actual Border Patrol agent.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was good. It was very, it didn't really like sway me on anything. It was just a good episode of kind of telling you what's really going on, because nobody really knows what's going on at the border. And he's been on the front lines there and was like, yeah, here's what's going on.
Well, the smart argument that I've heard of how start fixing the border issue is when Trump gets into office, he shuts down the border. I think honestly that needs to happen.
Yeah, how can that hurt?
Like, no spring break in Cabo for the next year. Sorry.
No South Padre for fucking...
Yeah, sorry, guys. Just cut the border or close the border, and you only have it open for verified trade. B, you declare a national state of emergency on the border so that you alleviate a lot of the issues on the Border Patrol, and you now bring in the National Guard and possibly active military, right?
Yeah.
So then once you get all that situated and you really like maybe 8, 12, 16 months down the road, when you really have a good idea of what's going on, then you get to decide, okay, are the cartels so bad we now have to bring in special forces to go in and take out the cartels? Because that was a real point of argument for Trump's 2020 campaign. But of course, it got all snuffed out by the pandemic, understandably or otherwise, but it did. I don't know, man. Again, I really, like, I think the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years, are like a prelude to how America dies.
Yeah, I think
a prelude to it. But if Kamala gets elected, so if this was like a 5-issue comic book story, the last 3.5 years is issue 0.
Yeah.
Kamala get elected becomes issue 1.
Yeah.
And then it's just a downward spiral from there.
I feel like it's just a bunch of distractions from those bigger issues, like you're saying. Because, damn, it seems like you think about nuclear war more than I do. But if there's something to think about, then it's definitely that. Other than all this other bullshit that they like to just feed us and distract us. I think a lot of it's really distracting from the bigger issues.
Well, and it's their playbook. So if you look at Obama's campaign when he was running for office in 2008,
gay marriage.
Well, okay, so that was 2012.
Oh,
in 2008, he's running on policy, right? He's running on a identity shift for the country. He's running on. He had some actual, like, he said they were going to close Guantanamo Bay. They were going to end the war in Iraq. They were going to pull out of Afghanistan. They've been saying all this shit, right? Yeah. But he was really the guy. And because he's one of the greatest public speakers of all time.
Fantastic. Yeah.
People believed him. And and it also helped that he was black and charismatic. Sorry, it helped. So people are like, definitely. This is a guy who came from nothing, rose into something, and he knows what it's like to be a low, down on your luck American. He knows what it's like to be a black man in America. He comes from what is supposed to be and arguably is the most subjugated and oppressed group in America. Yeah. And now he has a real shot at the presidency. This dude can turn it around.
What did he beat? Mitt Romney? Or what?
No, the first time it was John McCain.
Yeah, I don't know shit.
Yeah, first time it was John McCain, and he did not do any of that. In fact, all of our problems got worse.
Yeah.
So then when he was in
Obamacare, a mess.
Well, everything was. So then when it's time for him to run for re-election, that's when they run on gay marriage. They switch from actual policy to emotion.
Yep.
And it's, if you get me elected, we will make gay marriage legal in the United States of America. And listen, I'm not against gay marriage being legal.
Me either.
I think it should be.
Yeah. I have a gay uncle. He's the man.
However, there's something to be said when you are getting criticized by your opposition on things you have done wrong, and your answer is, yeah, we'll get to that later, but gay marriage.
Yeah.
To really dumb it all down.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To really dumb it all down. So it's just that playbook all over again. And Kamala, she's doing a so-so job at it, but she's doing her best to separate herself from the last 3.5 years. But dude, if I was...
can't, though. She can't do that.
On its face, you can't. Like if I was Trump, every single answer that Kamala had, I would have been like, go do it now.
Yeah.
I will quit the debate right now if you go in and do all this.
And back up what you're saying.
Right, but you can't and you won't for God knows what reason. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's and I just
got deep right away, dude.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about comedy with you.
Yeah.
But this is a good transition. I realized this, and I haven't announced this on the podcast yet, and by the time this comes out, it'll be way closer to the date. I end of last week, I got a nice little message in my Instagram DMs, and your boy got booked to Casadas.
Nice, dude. Congrats, bro. Yeah, I wanted to give you your flowers, dude. You've been killing it.
Thanks, man.
That's awesome.
Well,
I'm really proud of you.
Well, you watched me die at Revel.
No, it was good. I don't think you died at all. It was great.
I got not crucified.
Really?
It was meh. It was like a 5 out of 10. Anyway,
I thought it was great. All three of you guys were great.
Thanks, man. Oh, we'll see. Okay, that shows you how bad it was because there was 4 of us.
Oh, well, bro, at the fucking podcast, I took this little magic mind shot, which is it's like an alpha brain, but in a shot it has like nootropics, and it's supposed to replace coffee. And And dude, it couldn't have been. You left before we got on. Dude, I was saying faggot and retard, and I was being crazy. We had people walk out.
Well, fuck them.
Well, no, it was one person that walked out.
Most of the people that were in there was your crowd, though.
Yeah.
But I
thought it was fine, but then, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
I bring this up, and you shouldn't. I bring this up because I realized this last weekend that the date that I'll be at Casados, November 8th and 9th.
Right after the election.
Is literally the first weekend after the election. And I have no idea how I'm going to handle that because I'm not very experienced. Thank you for booking me, Casados. I appreciate it very much. I am good enough to play at your club. I would love to come back very soon. Thank you very much. But however, I am not. I know where my weakness is, and my number one weakness right now is crowd work. And it's even further from crowd work. It's connecting with the crowd. Yeah,
I feel like that comes with just more reps.
It does.
Well, you said that you bombed at Revel. I didn't think you did, but you did. You like if it didn't hit. I don't think that you bombed at all, but
Thanks.
You kind of would just. It would maybe it didn't hit as hard as something wouldn't hit as hard as you wanted to, but then you would just be like, nope, all right, well, and then like just keep rolling, which I think some people are not good at. I've seen a guy. We went to like an open mic thing at Revel a couple years back, and there was this guy. I don't even know his name, but. He would be getting like pissed off at the crowd. He's like, "No, that's not funny. Like, fuck you guys." And then he would just keep going. But like, you did a good job of just keeping it rolling. So.
Well, I appreciate that. But that's the challenging thing because there's some people that have the personality where they are allowed because of their personality, the way they look, the way they speak, the way they deliver them or carry themselves, deliver their material. They are allowed to tell the crowd to go fuck themselves.
Yeah,
because it's funny
in a funny way. Yeah, this guy wasn't being funny. He was like pissed.
So
off.
I had a show about a month and a half, 2 months ago maybe, and I didn't say anything like that to the crowd. But what happened was, I get there and the host of the show, he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey man. So we're having issues with the mic. When you hold the mic, make sure that so like let's say this is the mic. He's like, make sure that where the cable connects in, you hold it. You hold the cable. God. You hold the cable in place
like a gapped iPhone, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's like, you have to hold it in and kind of push it into the mic.
What?
And I was like, okay, no, that's fine because like over at Tractor for AJ, the guy who opened your Rebel show, for his shows that he used to do at Tractor, that mic was kind of like that sometimes. So I was like, all right, that sounds good, no problem at all. First comic goes up, mic's going out a little bit on him. I'm like, okay, I'll try to I'm looking at their hand movement, and I'm like, oh, maybe not holding it tight enough. I don't know what's going on. Second comic goes up, mic goes out even more on him. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's my turn to go up, dude. That mic literally goes out on 80% of my punchlines. and so like I'm over here the first couple of times I'm like, okay, back to business. Okay. By the end of my set, I'm like, I'm getting pissed.
I'm fired up.
I'm getting mad at this fucking thing. It was uncomfortable for everybody. I get off stage. Comic after me, crazy good comic. His name's Robert. He goes on stage. And he literally holds the mic like this. Just let the cord hang a little bit, and it's smooth sailing.
Smooth like butter, dude.
And I'm looking at the host like, what the... You told me and 3 or 2 other comics the wrong information.
Yeah.
You fucking did.
Bootleg ass equipment, dude.
Well, because I was getting all mad at it. I get off stage, I hand him the mic. He gets on there. And he tries to talk shit to me, and it goes out on him.
You're like that.
And I'm like, I was literally in the back. I was like, yeah, not so easy, is it?
Yeah.
You dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was funny though, just talking about getting your reps in after because I like that show, that Rebel show a lot. But I was thinking about it afterwards because when Tripp went up there, he immediately, because he's smart, he's a good comic.
He's fantastic, bro.
He got up there and he was immediately like, you guys are hating all of this.
Yeah. He's like, what am I even here for?
Yeah, this is not what you came for. But then I was like,
and there weren't that many people there, were there?
There was like, by the time
it was just like all of our like family and homies.
By the time that I had went up, there was maybe about 40 to 50-ish. By the time Tripp got off, it almost doubled.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, people showed up like an hour late to your shit, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
we need to tell them it starts at 5 p.m.
Yeah, by the time we left, it was about a 90 to 100 people in that room.
Oh, nice.
Give or take. And that's what I was trying to tell you guys before I even left. As people were coming in, I was like, dude, you guys can put 100 people in a room. Yeah, there is maybe 2 comedians in this city that can do that.
Really?
Maybe. It's Buck D and Zachabeta.
Shout out those guys.
Yeah, those guys are, and they're fucking great. But I'm not convinced there are any other comedians in this city that can do that. And that's not talking shit on their ability. That's not talking about them as a comedian. That's just their asses and seats ratio.
Yeah.
Are you able to get these people that are following you enough to go buy a ticket and watch you do stand up?
Yeah.
If I really tried, and if I was like putting on a show where I was like headlining and people know I can headline, which I can't, but people know I can headline and all this stuff, that was right now, maybe 10 people.
No, dude.
Maybe. No, seriously, because I'm like, maybe 10 people. 15, perhaps.
Yeah.
But it's a real superpower you guys have.
That's why Revel kind of fucks with us, just because we were doing just like a percentage of liquor sales. We would just do that, like get a percentage of that, and then we just invite, and then like 100 alcoholics show up, and then they're like, okay, well, we need just sell tickets at the door, and you can keep all the ticket sales.
That's awesome.
With the QR code or cash, but that's why they kind of like they just see that we bring people. So
yeah,
I think one of our first ones, dude, we had almost 200 people in that fucking place. But that was with a lot more marketing. We had this was kind of like a last minute show because I had asked for dates. They hit us up a couple months ago, like 6 months ago, asking us for dates for the fall. And then I was like, well, let's just try to lock in like 3 of them. And then like 3 weeks before that show, she's like, oh, are you guys still locked in? I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And I was like, Benita, I don't know if we could do this. He's like, let's just do it. Let's try it out, whatever. And then, so it probably could be better if we do more marketing and plan it out even more. But yeah, thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks for helping us out too on that show.
Oh yeah, of course. That speaks to the pull you guys have. It was a last minute show. You guys were able to bring in about 100 people, and that's good for Albuquerque.
Yeah,
that is good because you guys aren't celebrities. You guys aren't like with hundreds of thousands of followers.
Fuck no.
You don't have like all this shit. It's literally like the hometown hero type shit. And the only other time I've really seen that in person, like Zachabeta, he sells out his shows whenever he does like Zachabeta and Friends through like Dry Heat and all that shit.
And he's a killer too.
He's a great comic. But the only other time I've ever seen that was when Buck D did his special taping at Revel.
Okay.
And I was there for that. He had maybe 100 people, like 75 to 100 people in there.
Like $15 tickets,
maybe
$10?
a little more. I think it was like 15 or 20, yeah. Oh. So it was like good price, and people showed the fuck out for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so all that to say, very good job. And yeah, just like watching Trip do his thing, I was like, yeah, obviously this is a podcast setting. These people are here they enjoy podcasts. Or just enjoy me and Benito's Instagram clips. Well, but I
don't even think any of those people watch our podcast.
I have 10 minutes worth of stories.
Yeah.
Well, 2 stories that make up 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I should have just fucking done that because I turned around and did that this past weekend at Funny Fiesta for the Dark Show, and it went well.
Yeah.
It went perfectly fine.
Do you feel... Sorry for interrupting.
No, yeah.
Do you feel like you're more of that's more of your lane as a storyteller comic, or do you like those like
I have no idea
punchy
yet.
Ones? No, yeah.
Because I have sets that do both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is going to take time to figure out. But the nice part about that is if I combine the 2 stories that I have with my other like material that I know works, I have like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm like, all right, sounds good. Now a lot of it I gotta, I'll say 15 because some of it I gotta trim out now because some of it's political and doesn't hit anymore. Like the Biden stuff does not work anymore. The Biden, I had some good Biden material that works, and that doesn't hit anymore.
So what's a Casada show look like? You're on a lineup with the one you just got booked. You're on a lineup with other guys, or are you?
Yeah. So the way it's gonna work is I am the opener and the host for the show. And the headliner is Caroline Ray. She's been a comedian for fucking decades.
She's from Albuquerque?
No, like touring comedian.
Oh, nice.
No, like legitimate, like big time. Like,
gotcha.
Do you remember the original? I've never seen it, but like the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch TV show
with Jessica Malone, Melissa Joan Hart.
I don't fucking know.
That blonde chick, right?
But yes,
Yeah.
But the
I'm pretty sure it's Melissa Joan Hart.
The original,
unless it's before I was born, but that one, I think that one was like 2000s.
No, so the one from the 70s.
Oh.
Yeah, Melissa Joan Hart. You're correct.
Oh yeah, that's not
so. Caroline played the witch aunt
Okay.
So her.
Yes, I absolutely know who that is.
Yeah, so I'm opening for her.
That's awesome, bro. Good shit.
Yeah. I am fucking stoked.
When is that?
November 8th and 9th.
November 8th and 9th.
And that shit's gonna sell out. It is going to sell out. She has a fucking dedicated audience of people.
I would love to go. That'd be sweet.
That shit's gonna sell out.
We'll see what's going on. I'm like freelance now. I don't even have a fucking job right now. So maybe I'm sure that day's free on my schedule. I'm just kidding. But well, right after the election, I think that's definitely you could maybe preemptively prepare some stuff for whether it goes either way.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's got to be the lane to take, right?
That's what I'm thinking. And then because I've been researching her stuff, and she mostly does
about her crowd,
like family friendly ish material.
Is it kind of clean? Like she doesn't cuss?
She doesn't cuss a lot.
She doesn't say.
Yeah, she doesn't come off as that type of comic. So it is what it is. I'll figure it out. We'll see what it looks like.
If anything, it's just another challenge, dude, for you to
exactly
more reps.
And if I do come up with family friendly material, that's just more shit, and it's good. That's just more shit that I can add for my next,
definitely
for my continuing shows. Part of the reason I wanted to have you on here, how can I convince you to go to an open mic?
Fuck, dude, I don't know. You could. It probably right now. Could be a lot easier right now.
You'll fit right in. You just walk up on the mic, and be like, "Hey, I lost my job," and everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah."
When's the next one?
There is one every night.
I'll go with you the next one you want.
There is one every single night.
I'll go with you tomorrow, or Wednesday, or whatever.
The Tuesday mic's kind of gay. We'll go Wednesday.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll prefer the less gay one.
Yeah. I mean, Tuesdays are fine. It's at Slice Parlor in Nob Hill. It's fine.
It's fine.
Because my material's not. I know we just talked about the family shit, but my shit's not family friendly, and certainly my new stuff that I'm trying to figure out, see if it works, see if it doesn't. It's not fucking below 18 material, and I just feel bad telling dick jokes in front of like a family of 4 trying to eat pizza. You know what I mean?
Is actually. Oh, so there's children there.
It's the Slice Parlor.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that one.
Yeah, but the one at Red Door is always fun.
Okay. What was the dark show? Was that like dark humor, or was it like just in the dark?
Yeah, this past weekend was the New Mexico Comedy Festival. And the idea, and they have all types of different shows, but the idea behind the dark show is that it's supposed to be selectively like darker, more like offensive material.
Racist, 9/11, BLM.
Yeah, exactly. Sexual humor and all that type of shit. So I told 2 stories. I told one, and they're both true stories. I told one about my 18th birthday. Me and my friends went to Fantasy World, and that was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And then when I was in basic training, and a buddy of mine got stabbed in the dick, which was a nightmare for him.
Good story, though.
Dude, he almost lost his fucking dick.
Damn.
The long story
Stabbed,
bro, on accident.
Oh.
Because what happened, somebody just like go up on his bunk, like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I thought it was like in combat.
Oh, no. It was
basic training. So.
Yeah, it was during basic training.
Not much combat.
And the long story short of it was this fucking idiot
Sorry,
didn't turn off his phone during a podcast.
I put Do Not Disturb. I didn't know the fucking alarm still.
So he does host his own podcast called the April Fool's Podcast.
Oh, me, yeah. Fuck. Yeah, usually it's Benito texting during our show, but no, I'm just kidding.
But anyway, so this guy, there was a saran wrap on a pallet of MREs, and he was cutting the saran wrap, and a buddy of mine was like right behind him, and he had this blade or this knife that was like a sharp edge and like serrated edge right at the end, and he was sawing at the fucking saran wrap, and the serrated edge gets caught on the saran wrap, so he starts like tugging at it instead of like removing it or whatever. He just starts fucking tugging at it, and it finally cuts through the fucking saran wrap and goes like that, and it stabs my buddy in the dick. It stabs him like that, misses his fucking urethra by 0.1 centimeters, barely missed it.
Got the shaft.
Yeah. Cut his dick fucking hot dog style.
Oh my God.
And then, I don't say this in the story because it's not very funny, it doesn't really add to it, but it stabbed his dick like that, and then it went into his thigh.
I was going to say.
Like 3 inches.
Yeah.
And the dude fucking completed training.
I was going to say, does he get like a Purple Heart, dude? Or disabled veteran, dude? This wasn't overseas. Damn.
Yeah, dude, and they gave him a fucking. He had to clean his dick like 3 times a day with a cleaning kit.
Oh no!
And
Just kill me.
yeah, dude. Yeah,
Just do euthanasia, bro. I'll fucking. I don't like dick shit.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it too,
Dick injuries
was he had gotten removed from basic training. The guy who got stabbed for medical issues. I think it was something with his back. He got removed from basic training like a year and a half prior. And the dude goes through the process.
Give us another shot.
He wanted to be in the army so bad that he redoes the process and gets stabbed in the dick.
I think you got to reevaluate some things, man. I don't think this is your path.
Oh no, yeah, he's out now. I think he's out now. He did his contract and just got out because he had a shitty duty station. But
that's hilarious though.
yeah, he gets out for back injuries, comes back,
And then gets in, and then the front injuries, dude. Back and front. Fuck.
Yeah, it was not a good time for him, but makes for a good story. Makes for great material.
For sure. For sure.
Very fun times. How's the podcast going?
Podcast is good. We've kind of been doing every other week now. I've just had things going on, nothing really like big deal shit, but it's going good. We had James on our last one. That was awesome. That was one of our best guests we've ever had. Shout out James, dude. Love that guy.
Killer.
Dude, he just so much things to say. We didn't have to. It wasn't like pulling teeth with questions or anything. We just let him kind of rip, which is good. Yeah, I'd love to have him back on. He's been on here a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, I had him on once last year.
Yeah, he's killing it, bro. That was awesome. But yeah, other than that, I think we wanted to do some merch and some hats. But
I was gonna say I like the hat you're wearing.
Thanks. This is one of our older ones. We sold these. I had a new. We had a new one that I left in fucking Denver a couple weeks ago, so I'll probably never get that back. But we're working on. We were gonna release some shirts at our live show, but it was just the time crunch kind of fucked us. So maybe in like the spring or for our birthdays again next year, we'll come out with some new shirts. But it's going good, dude. We're still trucking away, and we just did like episode 136. So. We're getting up there, dude. 3 years.
What, 3 years of doing it, huh?
It'll be 4 years in January, yeah. So it's going good, man.
Good shit.
I don't ever want to stop.
Good.
So
good. And I
can't be the guy I tell Benita I was like, I don't want to be. I'd rather have a shitty podcast for 10 years than just have like a shitty podcast for 4 years and then stop.
If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it forever.
I'll do it for fucking ever. But yeah, like I've said before, it's like our therapy, dude. Yeah, girls go to therapy, dudes start podcasts. But I'll never not enjoy doing it. So we got to we'll have Benito on soon.
Yeah,
we'll have both of us on here.
Love to have him back in here. It's I commend you guys not for just like continuing to do it, but I commend you guys for doing it in the platform that you are doing it, because I mean, even if it was just me and a buddy doing it because you guys have been doing it every week for a very long time.
Yeah, give or take.
And yeah, I don't know if that me or any of my buddies could do a weekly podcast repeatedly. That's just a fucking challenge.
Yeah, I see. That's what I think about you, bro. And I would, not that I don't know if I could ever do because you've done some just talking, right?
I've done a couple, just because of like the crazy shit that's been going on lately.
And how long do those go?
Like maybe 45 to an hour.
See, that's still pretty impressive.
But that's still like me preparing like topics. And it's a lot of it is me talking out of my ass.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of prepared topics. Well, it's all prepared topics and prepared like, so like I did one after Biden dropped out, right? And then because the Trump assassination. So Nick from the Slums, or the drummer, me and him did a podcast together, and then we get done. He leaves to go do a private show, and fucking. I look at my Instagram and it goes 12 minutes ago, Trump shot at rally. Again. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, it was
first time. No, the first time.
It was right before that.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on? So then I was like, I'll do a podcast about this eventually. And then like fucking a week later or whatever, whenever it happens, or maybe Biden dropped out first and then he got shot or whatever. It happened within like a week and a half to 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast just to talk about this to myself and figure out what the fuck is going on. And supposedly it's a better way to build engagement to be live on YouTube. Because what I'll do is I'll do like a live stream on YouTube, and then I'll go live on my phone. Okay. And apparently that's supposed to build up your engagement. But I get like next to no fucking engagement when I go live on the podcast. So then I go live on my personal, I get like maybe like 5 to 10 people at most.
Gotcha.
So then it's like, it's like, it's half of it is to like, not do a filler episode, but to like, if there wasn't content for the week, or if I want to get an extra one in, I will do that.
Or something that you just want to get out that you don't want to wait a week for.
Exactly. And then the other half of it too is like, I do want to build the social media presence, and it's a pain in the ass.
It's a fucking bitch, dude.
I don't get it.
I don't hate it, but I'm like,
oh, I do.
I'm doing all that.
Oh, I do.
Like the clips are like, and now I have this good program that I'm using now, which it makes it a little bit easier, but it makes it more like that TikTok reel format. So I've been doing all the social media.
Use?
It's called Opus AI.
Okay.
So we kind of, it's not as much work as I'm making it out to be. Because like Adobe and all that shit, I'd have to take a master class on that to use it. So it's kind of a little cheat code. I like upload it helps that our producers already like live edit it. So I just upload the episode to this program, and it kind of gives me like a couple of clips to it puts them in like that format, and then I can go and like grab see which dialogue that I want, and then it'll translate that where it'll put the video into it, and then I just kind of rearrange like our faces and the cuts of like where we're at on the clip. I don't know, but it makes it easier. But I still hate it takes me like 2 or 3 hours to do one fucking minute and a half Instagram clip that gets 1,000 views. Like
Yeah, I feel that.
it's just kind of, I don't know. It's tedious, but I kind of like doing it, but it just takes forever.
Well, because the AI
It's
program,
a bitch, though.
I use AI, but the AI program that I use, because you guys get yours live edited, what I do is I put it into a Premiere.
This whole thing.
Yeah, I put all this into Premiere, and then it does...
For the actual pod that you release.
So, like, if there's, like, a timeline of, like, on the screen where it shows, like, the video and then the audio, I sync all those up, whatever, and then I tell the AI, like, hey, this audio is assigned to this video, this one goes to this one, and then I press OK, and it does like 2 to 3 hours worth of work in 45 seconds.
Nice, yeah.
It just cuts it all together.
Yeah.
Really what it does is just camera switches for me.
Yeah, I was going to
Right.
say, that's important.
And what I do from that is I just highlight like where the guest talks the most.
Yeah.
I find that, is that an interesting clip? Okay, let's see what happens. I pull it out and throw it up. But I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. It's like, yeah, and then like the most stupid shit. Like the clip that I got on the podcast, the reel that got 5 million views.
Hitler? What was it?
Yeah. It was
genocide?
Winston Churchill talking about concentration camps, which turned out to be its own AI dub of whatever. But it's me and my drunk friends laughing at a video, and that got 5 million views.
That's
but
huge,
then,
though.
It is.
Because you never know what's going to fucking hit at what time.
I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful. But then there's like other reels. I'm like, man, this is a good reel. This is going to do great. And it does like
I know.
1,800. I'm like,
That's
what?
why, especially if we're doing like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, there's got to be, that's what this program has helped me with more, because usually we would release a podcast, and then I would go and fucking screen record like 2 or 3 minutes of like, oh, this is a good little segment. And then I would put that up on Instagram, and it would be like it's blank on here, blank down
The
here.
rectangle.
And so this program, it pulls like 10 clips that are, because like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like there's like 8 probably pretty good little 1 minute clips that you could do. So if we could do like 2 or 3 or even 4 clips per episode, then that just to pump them out there to see what hits, and that seems to be working a little bit more for Instagram at least. But yeah, you don't know what's gonna hit, dude. So
Yeah, it's fucking impossible. And like, again, if and when the time comes where I get some actual money, and I can start outsourcing jobs, the first thing I'm doing is my social media.
Oh yeah, somebody just to run that.
Someone else gets to run it. Here are my passwords, my logins. As long as you don't make me look like a dickhead, take over the fucking podcast.
It'll save you so much time, dude. Even the AI shit saves us, like you said, 2-3 hours of work.
Yeah,
it just saves time, which is time's a commodity these days.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just because that's probably the only thing that I genuinely do not enjoy about doing this. Is like sitting down and like putting the social media work on it. It's the same thing over and over again, and it's so fucking monotonous. How do you guys come up with what you're going to talk about each week?
That's what I was going to say with you. We have a notes folder that we both have access to, so we'll think of something just like, and it's kind of hard. Well, that's what makes it easier about doing it with him, because we kind of don't. There's no like you said, it'd be hard for you to do it with like a buddy every week, but there's kind of no dead space because our chemistry is so good. So we just like, I'll say something. He'll have a story. I'll have a story. We're both very good at listening to each other and just good at conversation with each other. So sometimes, and some of our best ones have been when we don't really have anything planned. We're just like, fuck it. How was your weekend? We'll do this. And like, oh, that made me think of something. Or sometimes we have like topics, or we used to do the pimp or simp polls on Instagram. Yeah, I've been trying to not be on social media too much. Like, I don't have a TikTok, but I post on TikTok I have the podcast one that I post on, but like reels or like trends or Twitter, I'm just haven't really been too enveloped in social media. So that kind of like affects what we're going to talk about, just for content. So we kind of just luck out that we can get clips from just me and him talking.
So, because both of you are big football fans, right?
Well, he's way more of a football fan than me.
Okay.
I just told him last week I was like big sports guy, sports. We're like kind of kidding, but no, he's more of the sports.
He's more of the sports guy. Okay, because
sure.
one of the things I was going to ask you, and it's okay if you don't know the answer to this question.
That's okay.
So I'm just seeing like a lot of bullshit about people getting mad at the NFL for all these new rules. Do you know anything about that? Okay, cool. Because I can't talk sports at all.
Fuck no. If you wanted to talk sports on here, dude, I would. What I've been doing, because like I'm a Cowboys fan. My dad is a Cowboys fan. My grandpa was. Like, it's a family thing.
Yeah.
So like, and yeah. So I'm more of a Cowboys fan than I am of like an NFL fan. Like, I'm not gonna go. So I don't do the fantasy. I've done fantasies and I just lose fucking $200 every time because I'll forget about them. Like, it's not. I'm not like big on betting. But if I was really into sports, I would for sure have a fantasy and watch every other game. But the Cowboys just bring me and my dad just nothing but sadness and hurt. Yeah. So,
dude,
but yeah, not a big football guy.
Kind of in the same thing. My family are huge college football fans.
See, I don't get that at all.
They are huge college football.
I'll never understand.
For my mom's side of the family, it's because my grandfather was he was a graduate of Alabama,
which is huge.
Which is huge football, and so they all got into it and whatever. I had never really understood how big, because I was the same way. I was like, dude, it's fucking, like, I understand human achievement and accomplishment and watching people do cool shit. Like, I get that. I truly get that.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, I went. For the first time last year, I went to not just an Alabama football game, home game. I went to a homecoming game for Alabama.
We got ladies out there, dude.
Dude.
God made them different, dude, in Alabama.
Dude. 90, I want to try to get this right, like 95,000 people in a single arena. What the fuck?
It's crazy.
It is dude, like, people were screaming so fucking loud. It was, like, I go to concerts all the time, big and small, as much as, well, not lately because of how expensive they've gotten, but like,
all right.
That is quickly, oh my God. He does not give a single fuck about this podcast.
And it's named Haircut and then Haircut again. That's what.
You get a haircut, you fucking hippie.
Haircut.
Now when it goes off again, you're gonna have to get up and go get it.
Yeah, then I deserve that.
Anyway, so yeah, dude,
94
to 95,000 people, dude. When they were screaming, that is the most deafening experience I have ever fucking had. And they all look the same. All the dudes look the same. All the chicks look the same. I was the only brown kid there for an easy 50-mile vicinity.
Yep.
And dude, like when we were driving to get there, because they did it right. Like, we got decent tickets, but like my family had bought like really good parking space and all this stuff. But you have to drive through like a lot of college living, and then you drive by like the frat houses and the fraternity houses, or the frat house and the sorority houses, and dude, you would think that this was a small militia.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I saw all of that, and I felt, I like football. I don't really give a fuck about it like that.
Like, this is something else.
But, yeah, but I felt the, like, adrenaline rush, like, by association.
You're hyped up, dude.
Yeah,
you're
and
painting your fucking tits.
Now I'm like,
Spray
I
painting
understand
your
why people get fucking the shit kicked out of them at these football games.
Oh yeah, people are keyed up
because people are ready to go. They got like 7 beers in them.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing they're skiing in the bathroom a little bit, and they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking stab somebody today. I'm gonna fuck somebody up today.
I get it makes sense if you like. I get the kind of you graduated from that college and you're like a diehard for that college, but like that makes sense to me. Like Alabama or like what is it like the long Texas A&M or like those big Texas college football schools, but not just like I'm gonna watch 2 schools that I didn't. Some of these motherfuckers I know didn't even go to college, and they're like, I need to watch BYU versus fucking whatever, and I'm like, I think you're watching like 20-year-old dudes, dude. And I think it's a little bit gay to like college football. You're watching the young dudes that can't even drink just hump each other. I don't get it. But to each their own, man. People have their passions.
Well, I think it's
it's cool, but it's not for me.
I think it's a psychology thing. You know what I mean? Because it's very human, right? It's very human for us to want to be part of a community,
and root for a team,
for us to be a part of. I mean, that shit gets borderline religion, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but you know, it's very human for people to want to be a part of a bigger community, be a part of something like bigger than yourself, like that type of shit.
I get that.
And the fact that the barrier to entry is so low. You just have to show up in the right jersey.
That's true.
And people are like, hey, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So the barrier to entry is very low.
Yeah.
And they can show up, have a good time. You meet people that may or may not be like-minded. You get a couple of drinks in you, and now you're having a good time. Then you can figure out where it's like, oh, I can't play football for these teams. I'd imagine this goes for the NFL as well. But it's like, well, I can't play football for these teams, but I can bet on these teams. I can create my own team. If I had to make this team on my own, who would be on my team? It's like, oh, I know more. And then if you start studying it more, it's, oh, I understand football better than this guy. Yeah. I can beat this guy in his fantasy league.
Make some money.
And then you get into the fantasy leagues. I've never done fantasy, but I've seen them. Yeah. They have like their own trophies they pass around. Like the giant ones.
Yeah, it's a big deal, dude.
These giant fucking, just like, I'm the guy with the best fantasy football on the west side of Albuquerque. Fuck you guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? So this starts going into that type shit.
Yeah.
It's the need. It's the like human psychological need to be a part of a community and to need to conquer. But the barrier to entry is so fucking low.
Yeah.
And you can be fat and drunk and happy when you do it.
So true. That's so true.
I think I just cracked it.
I think we just figured it out, dude.
I think that's what it is.
Because it kind of becomes like a video game. Like you're like, oh, I can, like it's like, I can, like with like stats, they're like, oh yeah, well this guy, Demarius Tech Theratrix went to fucking this school and he was like better than this guy.
Is that a real name or are you just being racist?
No, that was, it probably is a real name, but no, it's not. It was, it's from that Key and Peele skit, dude. I'm not going to take the credit for that one. But the coldest Crawford or some shit, like they know all the rookies in the NFL, then they know what schools they went to, what. It's just so much like, I don't know if my brain just has room for all that information. I don't know what I'm filling it with, like in replacement of that. But yeah, usually when they're talking sports, if it's not about, I'll even ask like, so how are the Cowboys looking? They're like, oh, then they'll give me some rundown, even though they're not even Cowboys fans. But when people are talking sports, I usually either say or I just in my head I say to myself like, I don't know enough about this subject to talk about, so I'm gonna exit this combo.
I agree.
It's fine. I think it's fine. Like no hate on big sports.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And I think that the more you grow up and the further into adulthood you get, your brain really only has space because other than like the given of like your day-to-day work life and then your family, whatever that family looks like, whether it's your immediate family, your
friends, or your roommates,
your friends, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is.
Your relationships.
Yeah, so you have that as a baseline knowledge that you have to maintain to basically continue living your life.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you fill your brain with. Then you have extracurriculars, right? Where it's like, okay,
hobbies.
I understand my own life and the immediate lives of those around me and how they affect mine and how I affect theirs. Okay, that is where it is, good or bad. All right.
Now what?
Now, I think the brain only has time and energy and space for like 2 other things to really get into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why so obviously for me, it became fucking stand-up and comic books.
Yeah.
That's what I got into.
I'm way more on that.
And
that vibe.
And there's people that get into sports. There's people that get into politics. There's people that get into religion. There's people that get into like
bowling leagues.
Exactly, bowling leagues
or golf. I've just been taking golf lessons too.
Golf. So. I think this is widely accepted now more than ever. I really do think that golf, while there is extreme skill involved and all that type of shit, there is. I really do think that golf is the fucking best excuse in the world
to chill with the boys,
to get away from women.
Yeah, exactly.
That is because it's like, we're gonna go play the game, and it'll
take 8 hours.
Yeah, it's like 8 to 10 hours.
I saw this TikTok that this girl she went with her husband, boyfriend, whatever. And she was videotaping it. She's like, "Oh, that's funny. We're done in 2 hours." It's like when you're with your boys, it's an all day thing. And you're like, "Yeah, exactly."
Because we don't like
this.
You don't like it when I rush you through Target.
Yeah,
because you have to look at every fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, or when I listen to your horrible stories. The thing is, bro, and this is how I know I'm not gay, but this isn't why. But like, I'll fall in love with dudes. Like, I think I heard this somewhere. I don't know, but like, I definitely fall in love with dudes and want to have stories and bust balls with dudes and make jokes more than chicks. But I don't want to bang dudes.
Well, yeah.
Like, I want it. Like, if I could be gay and get over the whole dick thing, dude, it'd be way easier.
I think
if me and my best friend could get over the wiener thing, we would be the best couple ever, dude. It would work out.
I think that because there's a through,
but I can't.
There's a through line through religion where suffering in life is necessary.
I think more for men.
Yes, for sure. But I think in general, suffering in life is necessary. It brings the best out of you.
Sure.
That type of stuff. And with that logic, I think that's why God made being gay illegal, because you have to suffer to get the true love of a woman. I think you have to suffer. This is a clip right here. You have to suffer. You have to suffer through the worst of it.
Yeah.
Whether that's standing in Target for hours on end for no reason.
And we'll do that.
Listening to bullshit stories.
We will.
Or about nonsense that you either did not do or just don't care about.
Yeah.
Just to get to the point of like, all right, can we talk about this like humans now?
Yes, fuck. Or like, oh, I'm going to, like, me and my girl, like your girlfriend was there. She's like, oh, I'm going to brunch with my girlies. Like, you want to come? And I'm like, no, not really, but I will. And then you'll go, and you're like, okay, whatever that is. And then you're like, well, now I'm doing brunch with the boys or golfing with the boys. And she's like, I'm like, you can come, but like, it's gonna be, but I don't want you to come. And then she's like, well, I invited you to my brunch with the girls. He's like, well, yeah, well, you're like, I'm friends with the most entertaining people that I know, and we're hilarious. And you're best friends with fucking Kelly. You're friends with, like, yeah, I'm sure you want to go to my brunch way more. Because I do. But it's different. It's cool.
We're doing whippets in the bathroom.
It's cool. Yeah. We are fist pumping to David Guetta and getting pictures of mimosas and laughing. And you guys are just bitching about us. But it's okay. That's why like with women, like if they don't have a lot of friends, it's kind of a red flag, because
I wouldn't say it's a red flag, because there's different
good friends. I mean, like good solid like friends that aren't hoes, or like friends that are like good solid. Other women, if it's just because like I don't know, at some point you got to get over just like chilling with the boys and drinking with the boys all the time if you want to find like a girl, because
obviously
you grow up. But
yes, well, but then it's balance, right? It's balance, because I don't think it's a red flag, both male or female, if you don't have a lot of friends, or if you're like, this is how it is. Especially today with social media, people are more isolated than they've ever been. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just And whether it's they choose to not have friends with life circumstances, it's just they don't seize opportunities, or opportunities don't get presented to them. Whatever that alchemy of their life turns into, I wouldn't say it's a red flag. But what I would say is, so you're completely correct. You can't just hang out with the dudes all day because you need to find a chick, and because women and men need each other.
We serve different purposes to each other.
But I think one of the ultimate signs of maturity in a relationship is acknowledging that. And removing, because you're completely right about, because I think people are in their own way, and it's not just with relationships, but just with interests and habits. I think that's what it boils down to, really, is habits. People are recruiters for their own life.
Yeah.
They want to live in some kind of echo chamber that validates the way they live their life. That's why people that go to bars a lot want to hang out with people that go to bars a lot, because if you don't hang out with people that don't go to bars a lot, and they're maybe not necessarily a little healthier, but they just expand what they do in their life outside of just partying all the time. Yeah. You feel bad about yourself because all you do is go to bars.
Yeah.
When in the same time, where it's like, if you're only if
the only people that you know are doing that, then like if you take that out of your life, then you're like, well,
right.
Maybe it's like an identity.
And I'm not saying that going to bars is a necessity in life, but just being social in general.
Yeah.
Right. So, but what I think it is I think an ultimate sign of maturity in not just in life, but in a relationship, is acknowledging that yes, men and women need each other, but dudes need to be with dudes for a bit. Dudes. You need some dude time. Just hard dudes doing hard rock.
Yeah.
And then women, are a little different in that way. Where I think they need one of two things. I think they need either girl time or family time.
Yes.
Either way, it's nurturing.
Agreed.
But if they don't have girl time, they need family time. And if they don't have family time, they need girl time. They need one of those two things to keep them on track.
And if they don't have either of them and their only time is our time, then there's a problem, because
there can be
your time isn't only. Well,
yeah, there can be.
If I'm married though, dude, and I have kids, then that's my family time.
There's her family time.
Yeah. If I'm. Yeah.
Well, because if you're talking about like marriage and kids,
you're right. That's a completely different.
You do need time with like guys, but that gets reduced a lot because now you are nurturing a household.
Yeah. You have, your priorities are different for sure.
Your priorities have to shift.
Yeah.
You can't be going and hanging out at the bar every Friday and Saturday night while your wife is home fucking raising kids.
Yeah.
And in theory, I don't even say in theory, but in reality, you should feel a little bad.
Yeah, no, for sure. You for sure
you should feel bad.
That's a different story for sure. And like, because I used to go out to the bars, dude, like 3 nights a week in college, and a little bit after college. I haven't been out to like a bar, and I even recognized this when I was in college, because I wasn't really a promiscuous dude. I've never been really like. But you see all those dudes.
That mullet says otherwise, big dog.
Hey, dude. Follow me on Instagram. If we like, the goal is to like, let's go out, let's get drunk, and like, let's pull chicks. And I was never kind of like, that wasn't really like my thing. But as you grow older, you're like, I'm going to go out, spend $100. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to be hungover tomorrow. I'm probably not going to bring home a chick or whatever. Like you kind of, your priorities shift. So like, what is the reason like we're doing this? And it could be a social thing, because that's like what everybody's doing, and like you want to hang out with your friends if it's just like your boys at the bar, or like if your motives are different. But yeah, I haven't been to like a bar to go and do that for a while. Well, I'll just get drunk like at my house if I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that's why
I have roommates, so I don't know.
That's one of the reasons I'm very thankful that I have the group of friends that I grew up with, because that was never really a thought to like, we went out and drank at bars like very sparingly.
Yeah.
But it was always like, hey, let's get some beer and a bottle of whiskey and play video games at the house.
Yeah.
It's way cheaper.
Yeah.
We don't have to drive anywhere.
Safer.
It's safer. And not even just from a driving standpoint. It's safer from just Albuquerque.
For sure.
Because even when I would go out in downtown, like me and my ex, we would go hit Anodyne every now and again. We wouldn't go during the weekends. We go during the weekdays, a little quieter.
Yeah.
And we just go play pool. But in the couple of times that me and my friends would go out, we'd have to get out that bitch by like 11:30 or 12, because about 12:30
the warlocks come in, dude.
Yep, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30. That's the fucking witching hour. That's when the fucking goblins come out.
Oh, dude.
That's when these wannabe gangsters come out
With nothing to lose.
Yeah, well, and not even they perceive that there's nothing to lose, which I think delusion of nothing to lose is worse.
It's scarier for sure.
It's scary, man.
I gotta pee really bad.
Yeah, go pee.
I'm sorry.
No, take a break.
You're saying that it's...
Oh yeah, no, it's just not safe to go out in Albuquerque at that hour anymore. And I'm not convinced that it ever has been, but especially now, it's just not in my best interest.
Yeah, we used to do a Brickyard, which was awesome. The food was great. They had a PBR special that was like
Brickyard pizza.
Dude, it was $2.50 for a pint of PBR and a slice of pizza, dude. $2.50.
Easy.
Then their happy hour used to be... Their happy hour was like open to 6, and then from 6 to 9, it wasn't happy hour, and then 9 to 2. And the happy hour was $2 or $2 maybe they raised it to $3. It was like $2.50 well drinks. So you get like a double, and it's like $5 or $6. And then we'd go down to Monte Vista, Nob Hill, and then probably just drive home, I think. But just kidding, do a drink and drive. But both of those places got closed down. So
Monte Vista did get closed down, huh? I only went like...
It's something new now. There's a different name. It's kind of like a bougie, like a copper lounge thing now. But
fuck that, dude.
But yeah, so I don't even know. If I was in college, I don't even know what would be a fun thing to do.
Well, the issue with all that now is like I'm okay with things getting better. I'm okay with things being safer. I'm okay with things looking better. However, the reason you need some of those dingy, kind of rougher looking bars.
Smells like vomit.
You need those bars because A, they build character. They do.
They do.
And B, so for instance, like places like Copper Lounge, places like, so there's a new open mic on Wednesdays. I think it's like every other Wednesday, something like that, at Oak and Ivy.
Yeah.
Right?
I've heard.
Dude, I went to Oak and Ivy for an open mic, I think like last week or the week before that. Fucking a cocktail's like $16.
Yeah.
Get fucked. I'm so okay. Listen, man. Listen. Okay,
dude, it's because it has vegan lavender.
Yeah,
and
fuck you. Fuck your friends.
It has Wagyu fucking truffle butter on top.
Stop making my whiskey
dude.
gay.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, listen. There is. Have you ever had?
I applied to work at Oak and Ivy also, so this is not going to be the clip.
Have you ever seen the pre-made, like the pre-mixed bullet old fashioned that comes in the small orange bottle?
Yes.
Okay. So they sell that.
They can't do that.
They sell that at Costco for $20. I'm not usually a big pre-mixed thing.
Fuck no.
I'm not into that. That tastes good.
Really?
Dude, I'm dead serious. Get that, put it in your freezer, right?
That's my favorite drink. And then old fashioned.
Same. Get that. And you make a mean old. He makes a great old fashioned, by the way.
Used to.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I could still do it.
You make a mean old fashioned.
That company now was fun, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Don't Tell It's Sober. It was great.
Is Don't Tell, because I've been seeing it pop up on my.
So I'll get it. So my point in bringing that up. My point in bringing that up.
Sorry.
Is that's $20 at Costco. That is a better old fashioned than I've had at most of the places. The only two, and I'm not
for $15.
I'm not sucking your dick. Suck
my dick.
The only two very good to great old fashions that I've had in this city have been at Sobre Mesa, where you were making them, and then Red Door.
Interesting.
One of the bartenders that works there, his name's Dustin. He makes a great old fashioned. It's like both of you. It's a real issue because on Wednesday nights is when he works, and that's where the open mic is. And there was a good spiel there where I was getting like 3 or 4 old fashions a night.
Oh yeah.
And I not that it was getting me fucked up or anything, because they were made properly, but it was the money.
Yeah.
Because even at Red Door, those old fashions are like $10.
I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
10, 12.
So that's
depending
a fucking
what whiskey you do too.
Yeah, it's a real issue.
Yeah.
So when I can get a good old fashioned that I enjoy and pour it over, like usually we'd have big rocks when my shit didn't freeze fast enough.
It's all good.
Yeah. So
in the comfort of your own house.
Exactly. In the comfort of my own home, where I can stay here. I'm either working on the podcast, working on my stand-up, playing video games, whatever it is, and I can stay home and do that. And out of that one bottle, I can probably get 12 old fashions.
I was going to say
like
10.
Like 10 or 12 old fashions out of it.
That's
Go
awesome.
Fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. And I've never, and the reason I bring that up too is I've never been the guy that goes to a bar to pick up chicks. Yeah. I've never been that guy. Ever. I don't think, No, I don't think I've even tried. I've never picked up a chick at a bar. It's just never been like what I've set out to do.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just never been like,
It's slimy, dude. It's bad.
It's slimy, and then it's one thing if you're like at the bar with your buddies, because I've had friends do this. We're at the bar, and a dude's like, "Hey, I think that chick's really good." I'm like, well, don't be a pussy then. Then either go say hi.
Do something about it. Don't tell me.
Yeah. Go say hi to her and fucking get her number, or shoot your shot at pool. Either way, shoot your shot. Do something. Yeah. Do something. You're holding up the night by talking to me. All right,
Sure.
like fucking shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Right, but there's that, and that's totally fine. That's social, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the other side of that are dudes that go to bars to find the drunk chick.
Yeah.
That's predatory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And understandably so. I don't think that, at least off the bat, right? I think that women assume the second than the first, where it's like, oh, he's just coming up to me to fuck me.
For sure.
Where it's
As
like,
they should.
Where it's like,
they should think that.
that's fair.
Unfortunately.
That's not being prejudiced or being whatever. That's called pattern recognition. And it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I understand why you feel that way. So I've always had that in my head. And then it's also like, man, I'm already losing at this game of pool. I don't need more rejection.
Let me get another L.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't need to go and say, I think you're really pretty. Fuck you.
Yeah,
All right,
ew.
whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. The worst you can say is no. No, it is not.
Yeah.
I've watched my friends get shot down, and I pray to God that she would have just said no. She
for
handed
his
him,
sake.
Yeah, she handed him his nuts on a silver platter.
Secondhand, and then you're the guy that's friends with the guy that got into the jail, dude. I think that's worse. I don't even know him. I'm just kidding.
But anyway, don't tell.
Don't tell.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing.
Because I've been seeing it pull up on my reels or whatever. Is it gay saying reels instead of TikToks?
No,
but it's like a big thing. I thought it was like an Albuquerque local
dude, it's a
thing.
nationwide.
So
that's where people like Sam Talent, Renee Vaca, Ralph Barbosa,
really
Jordan Jensen, they made a lot of their name off Don't Tell, because so there's like,
it's huge.
The way I understand it, there's two different things in Don't Tell. There is the bigger portion of it where what you've seen on Instagram, right? Where you saw firsthand at Sober de Mesa, where it's each state has, typically because of bigger states and bigger comedy scenes, they have multiple producers for Don't Tell.
Like ambassadors or whatever.
Yeah, New Mexico only has one because of how small we are, like comedy-wise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who that is, but good friend of mine. So
shout out.
Yeah, shout out to him. He's doing a great great job.
It is a him.
So yes.
Him.
Yes. You fucking bitch. That's so stupid. Listen, man.
We need to get it right. Okay?
I get that most of it's corporate nonsense, but when I see people that are so clearly dudes or so clearly chicks, and in their Instagram bio it says she, her,
you're gay.
Or he, him, it's like, no.
I don't care. You're gay.
Like, yeah, I would have rather you accidentally put a dick pic on your story than see your fucking pronouns in your bio. You fucking pansy. You pansy. Anyways.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so silly. Anyway. So generally what it is they become like the producer of Don't Tell, and they are now like they're the middleman, right? So they set it up, they submit all the information to the bigger Don't Tell people, and they approve the place, and they get everything set up, and they do a Don't Tell pop-up. That's the bigger part of it.
Gotcha.
The smaller part of it is as the comedy scene is growing, or if you get a comedian who's really rising, they're getting their traction, they're gonna be a big comedian if given the chance. Don't Tell, from what I understand, he didn't tell me this, my buddy, but this is what I kind of understand by hearing about it from other places, is they will send professional camera crew in.
That's what
and that's what's on their YouTube channel and
okay.
on their Instagram. And so those are professionally filmed.
To highlight.
They have like the Don't Tell neon sign in the back.
Or the Dr. Squatch.
Yeah.
Fucking.
The sponsors are behind it.
Yeah.
We just, I don't think he's said this. By the time this comes out, the new Don't Tell would have already happened. We now have our own neon Don't Tell sign now.
Cool.
So every time that Don't Tell happens here, there's going to be a neon Don't Tell sign, so that if you film comedians in Albuquerque, if you get picked for Don't Tell, film your fucking set, because it's going to have the neon sign behind it now.
It's a big thing.
And what's so cool about Don't Tell is having a neon sign that says "Don't Tell" behind you is almost as big as being at a real club and having the logo behind you.
Gotcha.
Whether it's Casadas, the store, the stand down in New York, or whatever it is,
Big
right?
branding.
Exactly. You have that brand behind you. So it's like, yeah, I'm a real comedian. Look at this shit.
This is legit. It makes him way more legit.
Exactly. And the cool thing about it is, so bigger than that, you have, if you're a producer of Don't Tell, you have access to this huge pool of comedians. And every time you do a Don't Tell comedy, a comedy show, the producer of your show, if they're doing their job properly, which he is, he or she enters your name into this giant pool of comedians for Don't Tell. So now, let's say I do a Don't Tell here in Albuquerque. And let's say time goes by and my name goes up, whatever, and a producer in Michigan, California, New York, Texas, Florida.
Sees it.
They're trying to, they want to get an out-of-towner for their show. They see my clip pop up on Instagram or whatever, like, oh, is he a Don't Tell guy? Oh, he's on Don't Tell. Let's hit him up.
They pull you up.
Then they be like, hey, can you get to this state and do Don't Tell?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say how much, but
not bad.
But in comparison to other comedy shows, whether they're real clubs or what have you, outside of straight up doing your own headlining set at like a theater or at a club or a bigger venue or whatever, Don't Tell pays pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't Tell pay. I've seen a couple of numbers and I'm like, whoa.
I like that number.
That dude drove 6 hours, did 20 minutes, and got paid that?
Yeah. Is that 3 dudes?
I wanna be a Don't Tell guy.
Yeah.
So, it's a really, like, it is one of the best things happening in comedy right now.
Good to know.
And a little insider baseball, I'm trying to get Don't Tell to happen at Legion. Ooh. We are in the process of making that happen.
Wow, that'd be sweet.
It is as far as I'm concerned, it's going to happen. I have to kind of push a couple people in the right direction because a lot of people want to do it. It's just a matter of get off your ass and talk to each other.
Yeah.
But
nobody wants to do.
But it's just too busy. That's the issue. Because of the amount of Don't Tells that are happening right now. But like when that Legion Iron Don't Tell happens, it's going to be great.
And I'll be there for sure if that ever happens.
And the cool thing about it is Don't Tell themselves, like the corporation or whatever it is, they do all their own marketing. So they're the ones that pay for the Instagram ads. They pay for the Google ads. And dude,
they have somebody running the social media.
And you saw it. There was probably 125 people. 130 at Sober to Mesa.
Yeah.
Sold out. It
was good.
No, it got to a standing room.
The setup was sweet.
Yeah. Standing fucking room in Albuquerque. Because people see that Don't Tell. And I understand it. Like, you look at a thing that says a free comedy show. It's like, is it free? It might not be that great. And oftentimes you're right. Oftentimes it's like half good, half not good. It happens.
If it's a little bit good, it was free. So shut up.
It's free comedy that's local.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But so they might not necessarily just they want to waste their money buying drinks there, but it's the time spent. They could have been doing other things with their night off or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they see the Don't Tell. There's trust in the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And that's what I've stressed to my buddies. I was like, dude, don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Don't book your friends just because you like them.
Yeah.
Because we've got funny friends and we've got unfunny friends. I'm just being real. Yeah. And just being self-critical, I ride the line between funny and not funny.
Yeah.
It literally depends on the night and how I do. Uh-huh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's hit me up for Don't Tell. And I've been like, I'm not ready
I'm not ready yet.
I'm not ready.
It's good that you recognize that. Even if you were a little bit ready, you're just like, I'm not enough ready.
Yeah, no. Because
for that, because it's a big deal.
Now, if the Legion Iron thing happens,
you would want to be a part
I'm
of that.
going to do it.
Good.
Like, that's not even a question.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do that if it's at Legion.
Yeah.
And I try to put him in contact with a comic book store here in town. And I wanted to do that because of the backdrop. Uh-huh. And so I'm a fucking dork.
The red and black, or what do you mean? The backdrop.
Well, the backdrop for Legion, of course, and because the way I want to have it set up is where Garrett's portrait is.
Yeah.
That's where they do it.
Gotcha.
I'd rather them do it where like the giant banner is with the deadlifting platform, but there's too much equipment
logistically,
and you can't move it. But like there's literally a giant red carpet.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. You've got the wooden behind it. You got the previous owner right there. It's a good setup.
I agree.
You can have moonlight coming in from the rafters. Like it'll look great.
Sure.
And then the comic book store.
You could pack the fuck out
just
of that
because I'm a
place,
dork. I'd love to do a comic book store. But exactly, with Legion Iron, you can literally scatter that place with chairs. Mm-hmm. So
like 400 people could tickets. No,
With the new equipment,
200?
with the new, I'd say you're squeezing 200.
Okay.
I think a soft part,
without moving all the shit.
yeah, I think a soft spot is 60 to 100.
Okay.
But then what's also cool about that
400. What the fuck am I doing?
is especially a place like that, you don't want a ton of people in there because you want to keep it intimate.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Like
You want
exclusive
You
kind
want to
of?
make it feel exclusive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I don't want to speak out of turn because I know he's told me things that other people don't know, but they're trying to do a bigger don't tell at a bigger venue with a bigger comedian that can come in
And have some pull.
which would be fucking sick. Well, that's the other thing about don't tell is you don't know who's on the lineup.
I like that.
But as we've seen in Albuquerque with like when Jim Jeffries came into Dry Heat and Mark Maron came into Dry Heat, that wasn't advertised as a Jim Jeffries or a Mark Maron show, but people found the fuck out.
That Jim Jeffries show was fucking incredible, dude. He ripped for like an hour 15.
You're welcome.
Dude, I was front row, dude. He was spitting on me for
Yep.
the whole time. And he would get off the stage and be right fucking here. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Well, because like I was told not to tell anybody. I was just like, I was just told like, hey, tell people to go to Dry Heat. But I was like, nah, I got 2 homies that I know that would love to see this guy.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
I'm telling them who's gonna be at fucking.
Shout out you, dude. And I don't think Benito knew too much about Jim Jeffries too, so he was really impressed. That was awesome, bro.
Killer.
So I think about a couple of those jokes all the time. I'm like, that's so funny. It's so real.
The Hitler one.
The Hitler. What was it? Instead of blackface, Hitler face.
Yeah.
Or the one where it was like, yeah, I don't think it was. I can't even say it correctly, but it was like, yeah, I don't think older people don't have low sex drive. I think that they're just married to an also older person. Like, because they have to. It's not that they don't want to have sex; they just don't want to have sex with you anymore. Because you're 85.
Which is such a great joke.
It's so mean, but I'm like, fuck, it's so true.
He has such a superpower of,
and he's Australian, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
dude,
the words he's saying are so mean, but his accent helps sell it, and then his like facial expressions are so minute, but they're poignant and they're direct. Where it's like, yeah, that's funny.
Like one hitters, and then he had big old long riffs, and then just destroy at the end. Like good storytelling. It was. Shout out you, man, for telling us about that. That was one of my favorite shows I've seen here.
Yeah, I'm not letting that go to waste. You paid $15 to go see fucking Jim Jeffries.
Oh yeah, it was awesome, dude.
But anyway, don't tell's a good thing for this city, dude. Well, it's really for the state because they do things up in Santa Fe too.
Okay.
But don't tell's a cool thing, man. And the other cool thing about it too is the venue they hold it at get paid at. They get paid through don't tell, and then they get more exposure
for sure
for other people.
Because it's so big.
Because people will show them, but I didn't even like we did a don't tell. I helped set it up at this record store off of San Mateo. I want to say San Mateo and like Lomas ish around there, and I had never seen the place, but it's like a half record store, half like vintage store. They have like VHSs and like a bunch of books, old board games, crazy amounts of vinyls and all that stuff. And they had like a stage pre-prepared.
Okay.
So I was like, I asked the guy, I was like, do you hold shows here more often? Because it's a crazy backdrop. Yeah. Do you hold shows here? And he was like, yeah, I mean, we used to, but I'm just not really
like a not at a comedy open night, but they probably have like karaoke or
right.
Like
I'm like, do you guys not do like this? Is a great backdrop, and dude, just to show you how good these fucking shows were, at the show was at that venue, dude. We packed, I want to say like 50 people in there, 50 people in there, packed like literally like chairs are together, shoulder to shoulder around the stage. It starts raining outside and they don't have great AC. So everyone's sweating, everyone's humid, but everyone's locked in.
Gotcha.
That's how good the show was.
Interesting. And there's no bar there or anything either? So
they do pop up.
Okay.
They do like a pop up there.
Gotcha.
My Sober Miss is nice because they have a full bar.
Yeah.
But for stuff like that, they just do a pop up.
Gotcha.
So
that's sweet. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Don't tell, because I remembered the Sober Mesa event, and then I kept seeing it. I was like, this is way more like legit with the editing and the clips. Like this is like a full on production. So I definitely wanted to ask you about that. That's really cool.
And we're gonna have that, man. Like There was one Don't Tell was going to happen, but it got squashed, I think, because of like logistic issues. But there are a couple of comedians in town, like Buck D, especially Josh Fournier, after him doing all the Netflix stuff, Trip, Zach, that when they get on Don't Tell and they start growing and their name continues to grow, and once things start going out, those are going to be the first guys to get taped in Albuquerque because they fucking deserve it.
The big boys.
Yeah.
They're killers,
and
man.
it's going to be nice to be able to like nationally
associate with them.
Yeah, well, not even that, but just like when Albuquerque can start having names of like nationally recognized headliner Robert Gibson, Trip Stilnecki, Josh Fournier, Zach Abeda, like all these guys that come out of here and go travel and do comedy, like that's
It'll only help.
It's only going to help, dude. Like, and it's funny because I started doing stand up only a year ago, and when I started doing stand up in the summer of last year, I went to a couple, even before I started like actually doing open mics, I would just watch open mics. There weren't a ton of people. There were maybe like 8 people.
Watching or on
10
lineup?
people. No, on the lineup.
Oh.
Like then that's all that were there. There was nobody fucking watching. But then around like November of last year, and it makes sense because that's when casadas really started being a thing. Dry heat got a real foothold and all that type of stuff. And comedy really started growing in a real way here.
Yeah.
Dude, if you don't show up to an open mic on time, they'll, depending on the mic, they'll let you on the lineup. But if you don't show up on time, you're going to wait an hour and a half to go up on stage for 5 minutes.
Gotcha.
Now, granted, juxtapose that with like, I went to Austin, I signed up for a mic at the Creek, and I waited 2.5 hours and didn't even go up.
Damn. And
So-
you're just waiting. You're not even watching while you're waiting.
No, you're watching the show, but like you're not going up yet.
Yeah.
So we're not there yet, but like playtime's fucking over, dude.
Yeah.
Like you need to show up to the mic on time, and you need to sign up, take advantage of the time that you're there, and like this is it's cool, dude. It's a good time to be a comedy fan in New Mexico.
Good.
It is really fucking cool.
It's growing. That's good to know.
Well, and what's nice is because and granted, I'll be completely honest. This what I'm about to bring up is a symptom of like comedy is growing, but it's not huge yet. There's not like a giant pool of comedians
In Albuquerque,
in New Mexico. I would say in New Mexico right now there are 30 to 35 active comedians of varying degrees of
funny.
of ability of fun. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Varying degrees
Ability.
of funny, right? There's me and all the new guys at the bottom, and then there's everyone that I just named off at the very top, right?
I feel like it's kind of like 10% are legit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's a huge spectrum of who's on that,
is a spectrum.
of who's like a working comedian right now. Not even working, because I don't consider myself a working comedian, like an active comedian, right? Someone who regularly goes to mics, is regularly writing, getting booked on shows, putting on shows, whatever it is, right?
in the work.
These people that are actively working at being a comedian, right?
Yeah.
So there's about 30 to 35 of that. But because it's not that big, if you've been doing it for a little bit and you were to sign up for, like I saw this just last night, and you sign up for Funny Fiesta, you're going to get at least one show on the comedy festival.
Yeah.
If you show that like you're willing to work at it and you have like the funny gene, whatever that is, like you have the things like, oh, you're not fucking great or good right now, but I see it. You clearly have, like, there's a dude, this giant motherfucker. He used to be an MMA fighter. His name's Juan Adams. Giant fucking black dude. He's like 6'4", 6'5".
Big mofo.
Easily pushing 250, 240, right? Big dude. He just gets on stage and he's talking about his experience as an MMA fighter, crazy DMs he gets from dudes.
Rips.
No real punchlines. Well, there's a couple punchlines here and there, but his delivery,
Presence.
and his charisma, his stage presence, and it's just like, oh yeah.
I can see it.
Like you're nervous, but like aren't we all, first of all? And second of all, you have it. You just gotta keep doing it.
You got to fine tune it.
You just got to keep doing it. And so it's like if you have that, like you can get in and start working and meet people and really start, because I think like 2 to 3 years from now, it's going to turn into like not Austin, but it's going to get bigger. With Netflix coming in and the population is growing, there's just going to be more comedy here because we're going to have Hyenas in January. So now we're going to have 2 giant clubs, Casadas and Hyenas.
Where's Hyenas?
Windrock.
Really?
It's gonna be in Windrock.
Wow.
So you're gonna have those two. You're gonna have Dry Heat downtown, right? And now's the time.
I was gonna say, so this is like there's never been more of an opportunity to get involved with it.
The iron is hot now, and 2 to 3, maybe 4, maybe too late. But 4 years from now,
It's gonna be oversaturated.
It's not going to be oversaturated. I just think it's going to be a lot more of a challenge.
Gotcha.
It's going to be a lot more of a challenge, and it's just not because there's still an air of relaxing. There's still an air of like go to an open mic and fuck around, and there's some of that to be had, which is maybe just how my brain works. But like my whole thing is like, okay, just the ratio of time you're spending. So, for instance, let's say Wednesday night, right? Sign up on Wednesday at 7 p.m. The show is at 8, which means, or the open mic starts at 8.
Yeah.
Realistically, 8:15, 8:20. So what that means is that let's say time dedicated to comedy, right? That means you probably got to leave your house around 6:30. So you can park properly, all that stuff, get in. You sign up at 7. You're going to wait an hour. That's just between sign up and start.
Yeah.
Right?
You can work 5 minutes.
You can work on your material. You can not network, but hang out with other comics, shoot the shit, whatever, right? And then show starts at 8:15. Let's be generous. 8:15. Now, everyone's going to do 5 minutes of material, right? And if you are fucking 10th on the lineup, you're waiting an extra 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So now at this point, it's about 9 p.m. So you've spent 2.5 hours to do 5 minutes of stand-up.
Yeah. It's rough, but you got to put it in the reps.
You got to put in the reps and the time, but it's a matter of using it wisely.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like how? How would you use it wisely?
So first of all, if you're going to do it, fucking have an end goal.
In terms of your comedic career or of the night?
Both.
Okay.
Both. So like big picture, it's like, because I'm still trying to figure this out because I love comedy.
Yeah.
But it's like, do I really see this as a career? Do I really? Because right now I do, but I'm also coming off the high of a comedy festival.
True.
Where both of the big shows that I did pretty well.
It went well.
I did pretty well,
Yeah.
and I've got the footage to prove it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm coming off the high of that, but talk to me in a week and a half after I bomb at a couple of open mics and I can't write. I'm trying to figure out what's going on and whatever, right? So then that's like big picture. I'm still in the phase of like, I want to take this seriously, very much so. I love doing this. I'm getting a lot of really big opportunities. So like, I should take this seriously because not even my own self-doubt, but other people see that. Like Zach Abeda, dude, that fucking he's now giving me 2 major opportunities.
That's awesome.
He's been awesome about coming on the podcast whenever I ask him to. And I've only asked him twice, and he's came twice. And we've become good friends. I'm very thankful for that guy for just being a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just being a good dude. Mm-hmm. But he gave me my first comedy club show at Dry Heat, doing his final Zach Abeda and Friends show at the original Dry Heat location, which sold out.
Yeah.
So my first experience at a comedy club was sold out in front of about 50 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
And that was 6 months into comedy?
Okay.
7 months? That's crazy, right? So then he's giving me that, and he's given me in Ruidoso. I think this will come out right after this show. I'm going to Ruidoso to do the End of the Mountain Gods.
Sweet, big old casino.
Yeah, and that's a huge show.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest New Mexico shows you can get
for sure.
And I'm hosting and opening that show.
Wow.
So it's like
good shit, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, but I bring that up because it's like if someone like that sees that I have the potential to do these things, I might actually be really good at this. Yeah. So it's. I was having this conversation with my friend Allison. She's a comedian that I met out in Austin, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable calling myself a comedian yet. I just don't feel comfortable. She's like, well, figure it out because the sooner you're comfortable with it, and you convince yourself you're a comedian, because she goes, you're a comedian whether you like it or not. But the sooner you get that into your head, the easier it's going to be for everybody else to accept you as a comedian.
That's true.
Because she's been doing comedy for like 7, 8 years around there. So it's like, figure it out, dude. Yeah. Stop being a bitch and figure it out. I was like, thanks, man. I need
That's all I needed.
Exactly.
But is it kind of like, but is it paying the bills?
Well, and that's not going to happen for a long time.
Is that like kind of like the dichotomy of like taking it seriously yet? Or
not for me, just because I don't expect comedy to pay the bills for the next decade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I expect cool things to happen because I hope and pray that my opportunities match my work ethic, but I don't expect it to pay my bills anytime soon. And that's why I'm very thankful for the job that I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to talk about like using your time wisely, it's like now you like the first like 5 years, like figuring out, is this something you want to do? You obviously love it enough to go to an open mic. So it's like, okay, this is things you want to do. Do you feel like you're getting the right opportunities? Do you feel like that these things are happening the way it's supposed to? If not, how do you adjust? Whatever, right? But even in the way smaller scale, it's if you're spending 2.5 hours of your night to only do 5 minutes of material, how can you prepare to where it's like you're getting the most out of that 5 minutes? Like, are you just like, and I get it, man. I understand that it makes some people happy. Just go up there and kind of bullshit and talk shit just to get laughs, have a beer with your friends, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're really trying to do it, go up there and try material that you really believe in that can be a bit, that can be a real killer, because you're going to do that over and over. I've learned this in just a year. You're going to be doing it over and over and over and over and over. So if you're spending all this time where the ratio is so lopsided
For sure.
to no stage time to the actual stage time you're going to have,
Then make it worth it.
make it fucking, because dude, like worse than bombing, the worst feeling I've had in comedy so far is feeling like I've wasted my time.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, fuck, I did not use that time wisely.
Yeah.
Shit. And I've had that a few times where I'm just like, well, all right, we do it again next time.
Yep.
And we do it again.
And that's kind of just growing pains, though.
Oh, yeah.
That'll subside eventually.
But it's a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, I can't wait, dude. I'm down to just at least try an open mic. I don't know. I'm obsessed with stand up comedy, dude. I love it so much.
Mondays and Wednesdays are definitely the best ones. And even that like new one at Oak and Ivy's pretty cool. It's a cool setup.
Is it?
It's a cool setup. But like Mondays is at Lizard Tail, Knob Hill.
Okay.
That's a fun one. The guy who runs it, Jake, real nice guy.
Can I do like 2 minutes?
Yeah. You got to do 5 minutes. You just do as much as you want.
All right.
Dude, the first time I did an open mic.
Ooh.
First time I did an open mic. So Blvd and this other great comedian, she's not here anymore. She went to Japan because her husband's Air Force. I've been watching the open mic for a little bit. Is that Inside Out? It's a very short-lived one. And they both came up to me after the mic was over, and they were like, "You're doing the mic next week." And I was like, "No, the fuck, I'm not. What are you talking about?" I'm like, I don't have 5 minutes. I'm like, we don't care if you have 20 seconds.
Yeah.
You've been here. Why are you watching a fucking open mic, you dork? Go up there and do it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, sounds good. And I only did like 4 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Like 3.5, 4 minutes of just death. Of just horrible, bad comedy. But I will say this, it wasn't even comedy. It was just...
It was your thoughts.
It was my inner thoughts that shouldn't have been spoken. But I will say this.
You're like, this is what a podcast is for.
Yeah. I said one joke. And have you seen Steph Darnell? Have you seen him live?
No.
Big, tall, big, tall, black
Black
dude.
and black. Yeah.
With dreads.
Yeah, we asked him to do the podcast.
Oh, okay. But
live show.
he was out of town. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
I've seen him though. Yeah.
So he was standing way in the back of Inside Out. And I told one of my jokes. I just hear him go, "Ha!"
Yeah.
And that was enough.
Yeah, you're like, all right, I got one person.
Yeah.
I respect his.
Well, it was a very racist
opinion.
joke. And I
Yes.
got one of the only black dudes in the venue to laugh at it.
I fucking love that.
So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. And so right after that show was done, A. Marie came up to me and she was like, hey, in about a month, I have a show that's going to happen at this brewery. Come do 5 to 7 minutes. Nice. And I was like, what?
Like, fuck.
And she goes, look, what you just did up there was horrible. Your writing, she was like, your writing sucks. But your stage presence is really good.
You gotta tighten it up.
You're not nervous on stage.
Yeah.
You should do my show. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome.
And then a year and some change later,
Here we are.
Casadas.
Yeah. That's big, dude. November 8th?
November 8th and 9th.
Damn, bro. I would love to go to that.
Come out, dude.
Yeah, well.
Come out. It'll be a lot of fun.
That's so awesome, dude.
It's a good club, too.
It is. I saw Eric Griffin, you know him from...
You went to Eric Griffin.
Yeah, dude,
That's
I love
right.
him.
And I couldn't make it that night. Fuck.
He's
That's
great, man.
Right. Didn't some dudes get kicked out because they kept calling him Montezi?
I don't remember. Fuck, maybe. I think he likes being called Montez, though. I watched him on the Golden Hour with Chris D'Elia and Brendan Schaub. It used to be King of the Sting with Theo Vaughn and Brendan. But, yeah, it was a great show. He's a great comic. Not It was a lot of his style of comedy is interesting. It's like storytelling. He's kind of like complaining a lot, but it's like so relatable and funny. Doesn't really push the.
Well, that's why
no, he kind of did too.
That's why his character of Montez was so fun on Workaholics, because it was like the every guy, but he was outspoken about it.
Yeah.
Because the three main characters are the every guys, but they're so stoned. They're so stoned with their own antics. You're focused on that. But he's the guy who's fucking married, dead in job. Dude. He's a minority, so he's dealing with all that.
He's dealing with these fucking clowns, dude, that are just at this stupid job, and he has to deal with these idiots. It was good. But yeah, that was Casadas is a great club, man. It's cool.
And I'm very excited. And I will say this, I want to speak to credit to them. I did a whole episode. I did 3.5 hours on this podcast with Blvd and his buddy Six, who's a event producer here in town. Great guys. I fucking love those dudes. And they run their own podcast, the BS Show. Very fun. But we, out of that 3.5 hours, we probably spent a good hour 15 talking shit about Casadas.
Oh, really?
Talking shit, dude. No. Here's the thing, though. This shows you how good it's ran over at Casadas. We were talking shit. It wasn't even talking shit, because talking shit almost implies you don't have facts. But it was just how he had been treated, how he felt he had been treated.
Interesting.
So the owner of not the owner of the club, it's a casino, but the guy who runs it, Stephen Michael Casada, right? Tenured comedian, actor, Breaking Bad. He goes on Blvd's podcast soon after that. Not because of my podcast, because Buck had been trying to get him booked.
Out?
Well, oh yeah. He goes on Blvd's podcast and they hash it out.
Damn.
And they figure things out.
Like adults.
And it turns out it's a big misunderstanding, and I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, no, that makes sense. Okay, cool. We see why this all happened. Anyway, a couple months later, and you would love this episode. He's a fucking great dude. His name's DJ Animal. Okay. Hilarious fucking guy. Dude, I think we've talked about this ad nauseum in our past, but my testosterone issues are prevalent still.
Oh yeah, let's not get into mine.
Because I'm off the sauce. But if I am able to have as much energy into my 40s and I don't think he's in his 50s yet, but into my 40s as that guy does, because he's like fired up, ready to fucking go, fucking. You know what I mean? That kind of guy. So if I had that type of energy, I would love it. But anyway, he goes on the podcast, and about an hour and so into it, he kind of slyly drops it about how he watched all of the episodes between me and Buck and Six. And he understood the beef and all that stuff, and he helps book for Casadas.
Gotcha.
And he performs there sometimes, so on and so forth. So the fact that Casadas, they have to know who they're booking.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
If you have
they're a real
fucking
club.
Hours and hours of content.
So especially because one of the guys that works with them, DJ Animal, right? He probably knows that I'm booked there. So the fact that they still booked me and all this stuff shows that like they're not ran by a bunch of drunks. Now I also understand that maybe they don't know anything that I just said, whatever. But I think it is more likely than not. They know who I am.
Yeah.
And they know about the podcast. They know about who I know here in town, all this stuff. And they still were like, we'll book you.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
That would never have the beef would have never been squashed unless you guys brought it up on your show, on your podcast.
I think it still would have been.
Really?
But it only inserts me slightly into the conversation because we had that conversation here. Gotcha. Because Buck had aired his own shit out on his own podcast.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the
no. He aired his shit out over there because he had told me it privately too. And I was like, if you want to talk about it on another platform,
come on up.
We've been meaning to do an episode anyway, so what's up? So I'm very excited, man. They're a good club.
Cool.
I'm very, very excited.
Things to look forward to.
Yeah, man. It's comedy's real, man. Like it's real in this
Comedy's
city.
Comedy's
real. In this city, dude, it's real.
That should be the name of this episode. Comedy's real.
Yeah, man. It's cool to see. And if you're a comedy lover, if you're a comedy fan, but especially if you're like you and you're a comedy dork.
Yeah.
Now's the time, not even to do it, just to go out and see shows, man.
Yeah.
Now's the time. Let's end with this.
We don't have to end by the way if you don't want to.
It's about that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I should do the rest of the night. It's about that time. It's 8:30. No, we could go for 3-4 hours.
I know we could. Yeah.
Okay, so what is your Mount Rushmore? Not just active comedians right now.
Oh,
but
guess?
No, of comedians.
Oh.
Comedians. Your Mount Rushmore of comedians, dead or alive.
Dang. That's a great question. Let's do Theo Vaughn, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, and Cat Williams. Maybe I'll take out Robin Williams. Rest in peace, love that guy. And fuck, I like Dane Cook, man. I used to like Dane Cook. Right now,
No, dude. Okay. Finish and I'll say about Dane Cook.
fuck. So I get 4 of them.
Yeah, 4 of them.
I love Jim Carrey, man. Eddie Murphy. I'm trying to think. I'm forgetting some guys right now.
So Theo, Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey,
And Donald Trump. No, I'm just kidding. Let's do. I'm trying to think of somebody now. Like, I'm kind of over Dave Chappelle in terms of like he's one of the
Heresy.
greatest. He's one of the greatest of all time. But there's somebody else right now that I'm forgetting. I probably watch their podcast all the time. Yeah, let's do Cat Williams. Let's throw him in there.
Okay.
Jim Carrey, Eddie Murphy, and Cat Williams.
Solid lineup.
I don't know. What do you got?
So it's just funny about Dane Cook. There's something to be said about Dane Cook. He's not on my Mount Rushmore, but he was the first like real.
It's like a nostalgic thing with me and Dane Cook.
He was the first real social media stand-up comedian.
From MySpace, I think it was.
Yeah, MySpace. He's the first one to build a following off social media. There's something. Yes, it's
Before it was even.
It's very weird what the age difference between him and his girlfriend. They may or may not have known each other when she was 16.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Damn.
Like
Well.
that's some weird shit. And whether or not that is where it is. If there's real evidence that shows he's a pedophile, yeah, that's scary. But I haven't seen any real evidence, and
take him out.
And all I know is that he's like a 40-year-old dude dating a 26-year-old,
almost 50.
And guess what? They're legal, whatever, right? And it's funny you bring up Robin
What about
Williams.
Bill Burr?
I'll get there.
Let's put him in.
I'll get there.
Sorry.
Because Robin Williams is an interesting one because if you talk to comedy fucking historians about it, Robin Williams was known for being a joke thief.
Oh,
And that's the scary.
like
That's
Carlos
scary.
Mencia vibe.
No, because Carlos Mencia, he stole material. He watched comedians do their thing and
said,
was
"I'll do
like,
it better than
I'm
that."
gonna bank it
Yeah.
and do it. What Robin Williams gets accused of doing is watching comedians do their thing, and then when he goes up there and starts riffing and raffing, he might pull from other comedians' material. Still stealing, but it's like a sidestep.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But for me,
I'm gonna take back all 4 of mine.
okay.
Let's do Theo Vaughn, Mark Norman, Bill Burr, and Anthony Jeselnik, dude. I've been really like.
God, he's so good.
He scares me, dude.
So,
I go into a joke and I'm like, where the fuck is this gonna go? And I'm like, oh my god,
Anthony Jeselnik is one of my honorable mentions.
he's good. Man.
I think he needs one more special.
Okay, yeah, I don't.
And
think
he
I've
hasn't
watched
put one out in
special.
a long time. Dude, if you want a good comedy album, I don't even know if it's recorded. If you want a good comedy album, Caligula by Anthony Jeselnik.
Okay.
Holy fuck.
It's just so different than anything
He's
else.
a monster. Because, like, for my honorable mentions, it's Jeselnik, Bo Burnham. He's in there, too. I grew up on that guy's stuff.
Yeah.
Love him. Jeff Dunham.
I knew you were
A
gonna say
lot of
Jeff
people
Dunham.
hate Jeff Dunham, but I love that guy. But if I had to do a Mount Rushmore, in no particular order except for my number one, Chappelle.
Okay,
He is my number one.
I take back what I said.
That is, like, my guy. No, you cannot like him. That's fine.
No, I like him. I'm just like,
But
I have no problems with him.
oh,
at
and
all.
another honorable mention is Joe Rogan. Not just for his comedy. I love his comedy, but because he has a quotable saying where he says that Mitzi Shore is the most important person to comedy that isn't a comedian.
Yeah.
I think he's the most important person to comedy that is a comedian.
That is a comedian for sure.
I think he has surpassed Johnny Carson.
100%.
And that'll piss off a lot of people.
I agree.
But I don't care. He has done so much for the current state of comedy.
Oh yeah.
I think that's unrefutable. Anyway,
And then second would be Tony Hinchcliffe.
give him about 5 more years.
Gotcha.
And Hinchcliffe is right next to him because of Kill Tony and everything that he's doing. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But my Mount Rushmore, number 1 is Chappelle. That is my non-negotiable. Chappelle, Bill Burr,
There you go.
Louis C.K.,
Oh fuck, I forgot about that.
and then Eddie Murphy. because
Shout
and
out
that's the
Louis,
thing,
dude.
because of how good Delirious and Raw is for Eddie Murphy.
Crazy.
Like, because, but then it's like, you know, if 10 years go by and the current trajectory is where it is, fucking Sam Talent, dude.
I don't know who that is.
Dude, it's on YouTube. It's a free special. The Toad's Morale
Okay.
by Sam Talent. I probably watch that special or rewatch parts of it once every 2 weeks.
Love it.
I'll just put it on and listen to it. It's so fucking good, man.
Good.
Like, Sam Talent is amazing. Adam Ray
Dude.
is a killer. Tony Hinchcliffe, a killer.
Dr. Phil, that Dr. Phil shit
is crazy.
unbelievable.
But dude, okay.
It's so good.
I love that he's getting his flowers for Dr. Phil, but his own specials. Dude, he's got
the cred to back it up.
He's put out 3 hour-long that I know of. 3 hour-long specials just in the last 6 months.
His crowd work's killer too, man.
He's insane.
Yeah.
Adam Ray's crazy. Sam Talent is crazy. Hinchcliffe is incredible.
I've never seen a Hinchcliffe stand up.
He's good. Dude.
I was just talking about his kind of like
look up
footprint on the comedy scene
on YouTube. Making Friends.
Okay.
That one's really good. Again,
Andrew Schultz.
Schultz is crazy, dude. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Schultz is crazy. I was trying to think of his name. I was just thinking of the mustache. Schultz is crazy, dude. Fucking Infamous is insane.
One of the best ever.
That is one of my as far as writing goes, one of my favorite specials of all time. Incredible. It's just comedy is alive and well, dude.
We're forgetting some people for sure.
Oh, of course we are.
Fuck.
Of course we are. I mean, you could bring up Sam Kinison. You could bring up Andrew Dice Clay. We already brought up Jim Carrey. I mean...
And Jim Carrey, I've probably only seen like 2 of his actual stand-ups, but I just love him as just... I consider him a comedian, but just he's one of the funniest people that's ever lived.
He's great, dude.
Damn. All right, that's a good top 4. I think mine need to change next time. But, yeah.
It's good, dude.
It's good, man. I love it.
Listen, this has been a lot of fun.
I love you, bro. Thank you so much.
Dude, no, thank you. One more time, where can everybody find your podcast?
At April Fool's Pod. Our Twitter's not really that popping, but at April Fool's Pod on Instagram. That's where you'll see all our highlights and our clips. The April Fool's Podcast on YouTube. My Instagram is, or my everything, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, everything is Nico, at Nico_G23. So
sweet.
We'll have you back on our show, dude.
I'd love to.
Appreciate you.
Anytime. Let me know, dude.
Love you, man.
Love you, buddy. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching.
Appreciate
and we'll see you next time. Bye,
Gang.
everybody.